Good morning, foodies. It is Friday, and I'm doing a little power cooking this morning. So it's not quite morning, it's mid-morning. And my family has a busy weekend. I'm doing 3 cooking shows this weekend. We have a practice, we have 2 games, a baby shower. So it's just really important that we have our meals ready to go, because if not, we'll be spending time in the fast food line, and that's just not good on our waistline or our budget. So what I'm decided to do this morning is I had some sausage in the freezer that I needed to go ahead and I had defrosted it early this week and I hadn't done anything with it. So what I decided to do was my breakfast stuff. So I have the pound of sausage right here in our 12-inch skillet, our mix and chop. I broke all this up, just sat here as I was doing other things, came around every so minute and just broke it all up. It's pretty much all the way cooked. Now this is gonna go back in the oven, so if there's a little pink in there, it's not gonna hurt anybody because it's gonna be cooked further. So I also had at least a dozen eggs. I have to honestly tell you, I did not count how many eggs went in here. I usually use at least 9 because I usually buy 18 packs. So that's half of my, I love how my husband is sending me hearts from upstairs. Hi, honey. So this is probably a dozen eggs. It's what I had in the refrigerator. And then this is a little over a block of cheese that I went ahead and shredded. So I've got my coarse grater, shredded it right over there. I'm gonna go ahead and shred some more cheese because my family is gonna be able to have tacos tonight, or a version of tacos when I'm not here. So to save them on some time, I'm gonna go ahead and grate my cheese ahead of time. Now with your block of cheese, you'll notice I'm just kind of rolling up the package and holding it by the package to grate my cheese. I'm using this in the long version. You can do the TP version, and then this is the flat version to store. This is not a magical button on either side, depending if you're lefty or righty. It's just where I place my thumb to move the handle. There's a hinge in here, and you just move it back and forth. So because I'm just doing it right here on my cutting mat, I'm gonna go ahead and grate it. Now the cheese you buy in the store, yes, I know it's already grated. However, cheese loses its flavor about 3 days after you grate it, so it's pretty tasteless. It's covered in cellulose, which is a preservative. I have enough cellulite in my life. I don't need any cellulose to go along with that. But if you Google cellulose, it is wood pulp or sawdust that they put on your cheese to keep it fresh, and so it doesn't grow any green stuff, but also so it stays loose in the package. When I show you this cheese up close, you're gonna notice it kind of sticks together, but it melts so much better. It tastes better. And we just always have multiple blocks of cheese. So this is Colby Jack. I used up the cheddar that we have. We have right now a mozzarella, this is Colby Jack, a pepper jack, a Swiss. We have bunches of different cheeses. The kids know just to grab a cheese grater. I actually had to buy 2 of these because if I take one to a show, then my family can't have cheese, and they get really upset if they can't have cheese on Taco Tuesday or Meatless Monday and they're having pasta or whatever. So gotta have a cheese grater. And then when I'm done, I'm just gonna put it right in the dishwasher just like this. So my cheese I'll get ready and I'll put it in a container for my family because they're gonna eat this tonight. In the meantime, I've got a bag of frozen chicken. So the other day I bought the 5-pound package at Kroger. It's about this big. When I get it, I kind of clean it up, and I used what I needed to for the chicken parmesan pasta the other night. There's a video on that. And then this is what's left over. So this is going to be this is probably like 3 pounds of chicken, if not more, maybe 3.5. But my family will eat it. You guys remember I have a growing 14-year-old that eats like a grown man, and my daughter keeps up too. So, and we don't mind having tacos on any day that ends in Y. We do not discriminate on our Taco Tuesday day. So what I'm gonna do today, let me just move this out of our way, is I'm gonna do this with my quick cooker because I want to go ahead and get some work done today, and I don't want to babysit it in the crock pot, rock crock, or stovetop or whatever. So I'm just gonna take my quick cooker, plug it in, you'll hear it make a noise. There, then we know it's on. And then what I'm gonna do is I am just gonna take our frozen bag of chicken. You guys can hear it, it's pretty frozen. And I'm just gonna take it out of this baggie. Sometimes you have to rip the baggie to get it out of here depending on how it is. But I had my daughter do this the other day. I told her to take all the air out and just kind of make it a big lump in there, because if I do it flat and it's square like, then it won't fit in here and I won't be able to get the top on. So here's what the chicken looks like. I'm gonna put that down. It actually kind of looks like a small roaster. And then with your quick cooker, you always need liquid. So it needs liquid to come to pressure. So I've got a carton of broth here. It feels about halfway full. That's approximately 2 cups. I probably could get away with a cup, but you know what? I'm gonna use this up because I don't know what else I have planned for dinner next week, and we're just gonna use this up so that it can cook in there. Now you could use water. However, I have found that when you use things like broth or stock, it adds more flavor. So even when I cook things that are starchy, like potatoes, pasta, rice, I always use broth. It just tastes better. And I had a packet of taco mix right here. So I'm gonna add this in here. Oh, don't forget your box top. So I need to make sure I get my kitchen shears so I get my box top off. My school teachers will appreciate that. And I'm just gonna sprinkle this in here all over top. And if you hear any other crinkling in the background, it's because the kittens is playing in the backpack basket. All right, so let me see if I can angle you guys over so you can kind of see what's going on here in the inside of the inside of the quick cooker. So you can see the broth is way down there, way below the fill line, and then our seasoning. So then what I'm gonna do is, because we used this last night, we made beef stew last night, I wanna double check to make sure my ring is pushed all the way down, because I took the ring out last night to clean it. And then also, we had a little bit of stuff that spewed out of here during the steam release. So I'm gonna get that because that's over at the sink from being clean. All right, so you hear the noise. You turn, it's locked. All right, so here's my steam release. There's a little teeny cloud right here, and there's a cloud right here. So right now this is depressed. I'm gonna lift that up so it's flat, and I'm gonna line up this cloud with this cloud. There's also a little teeny notch right here. Can you guys see that? So I can see there's a little teeny notch right here, so I make sure those notches line up. Put that in there. They're both flat. And with this recipe, I'm just gonna hit the chicken button. So I'm gonna rotate this over to chicken and poultry. This says 15 minutes. I am gonna custom time this up to 20 because the chicken is frozen. So, let me go down. So then hit custom time. I'm gonna go down to 20 and I'm gonna hit start. So why it's thinking, what it's doing here, let me see if I can angle you guys down a little bit. What it's doing is it's gonna come up to pressure. So like I said, it's got about 2 cups of liquid in there, and the chicken is frozen. So that's gonna create moisture in there as it defrosts. So that's why it's gonna take a little while for this to come to pressure. That's normal, okay? So I'm just gonna leave this because I've got other things to do today. You guys know, laundry, dishes, you know, making sure everything's on set for the weekend. If you're anything like me, you've got your calendar set for Monday through Thursday and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you've always got something going on. So we're gonna leave this to the side, and then I'm gonna show you what's gonna be up for breakfast. Now, if they want this for breakfast, they can eat it, certainly have it for breakfast. They can have it for an afternoon snack. I really don't care because it's all protein filled, and I know with my children, because they have practice tonight, they are gremlins if they just eat like a handful of goldfish when they come home, and then we're wondering why that they are these little gremlins walking around that, you know, you feel like you fed them after midnight and they're just awful people. So like I said, this is our dozen plus eggs. We've got at least a block of cheese. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my Italian sausage. Now, this sausage is not too greasy. I can't even see any grease in here. So if you have a greasier sausage, you can definitely drain it if you want. This is not really that greasy. And so the little bit of grease that's gonna stick kind of to the bottom of the pan, it's gonna be, if a little bit escapes into the egg mixture, it's gonna be all right. So I'm just getting all the sausage in there. All right, now my family likes a little bit of a kick. So this is spicy Italian sausage. You could use sweet Italian sausage. You could use like Jimmy Dean breakfast sausage. You could use really anything you want. I prefer using sausage over bacon. I feel like when I bake even cooked crispy bacon, it gets kind of wimpy in the baking process. So right now, this is just 3 ingredients. It's the sausage, the cheese, and the eggs. Now, even though I use spicy Italian sausage, my family still likes even more heat. So what I've got is a jar of jalapenos. These are the diced jalapenos. And so I'm just going to actually grab a spoon And this is our can strainer. Great little tool. It works great because I want to be able to drain some of the juices out of here. I'm just actually draining them right into the lid because I'll add them, or I can add them actually right back into the jar so that they stay moist. My husband's favorite word. Why it's in there. All right, so I don't know. It's about 2 tablespoons. We're gonna add some of those in there. If I had red pepper, I would dice fresh red pepper and add them on there. My family usually eats these with a little sriracha or a little hot sauce. Maybe your family likes ketchup. I'm fine eating them plain, okay? So mix that all in there. Now, one thing I learned, because this is originally a modification of a Bisquick box recipe. And so when I realized, like, I stopped keeping Bisquick on hand a couple years ago with our pancake blender bottle. It tells me all the ingredients I need for pancakes right there in the bottle. So what I've learned is if I just use a little bit of flour, a little bit of baking powder, baking soda, and a little salt, that's basically what's in your Bisquick mixture. So I'm gonna grab those ingredients. All right, so you've got your baking soda, your salt. Now, I don't need a lot of salt because this is already pretty salty with the sausage. I'm gonna use 1/8 of a teaspoon. This is actually equivalent to a pinch. So if your grandma taught you how to measure things out, like with the palm of your hand, you could just do that. All right, we're gonna throw that in there. And then I'm gonna take and do a full teaspoon of baking soda. And I just use the box to level it off. All right, add that in there. And then I love that our measuring spoons just kind of click together. That's why I only clicked off the ones I needed. I'll put these back in the thing and then I'll put these in the sink. And then the other thing we need is 1/4 cup of flour. So our measuring cups are the same way. They all click into each other with this little thing right here. And these actually come with a leveler too. But I'm gonna go ahead and grab our flour. You guys know I'm kind of nerdy, so I put all of my baked good stuff in a little container so I can store it all nicely in my pantry there. All right, so we're gonna level this off. Shake, 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 1/4 cup right in there. All right, some people don't want to put the dry ingredients in there. Maybe you're trying to avoid flour for gluten purposes or whatever. You don't have to. I just do it so it's a little bit, got a little bit of a biscuity, I guess, texture. It would be totally fine without any kind of dried ingredients. You could do it with just the egg, cheese, sausage, and vegetable of your choice. All right, so I was just using my whisk here. There's a clump of sausage in there. I'll just spread the tines and get those out. All right, so then I'm gonna take our loaf pan. So this is one of the new baking pans for the fall season. And I'm gonna fill these babies up. So I'm not really gonna like measure it too closely. I'm just gonna use the 1/4 measuring cup that I already had out. And I a lot of times use my large stainless steel scoop. However, that is already packed because I have a show tonight and I've already packed that. I'm surprised with that too. So I'm just gonna use my little 1/4 cup measuring and I'm just gonna fill each one of these up. Now, usually I go back and I fill them up, like I level it all up and use everything, but because I've got a little bit more eggs in here today, I'm probably gonna make a second pan. And then, well, because this is almost double what I normally do. So what I'm gonna do is make a second pan, but you can see I used 1/4 cup in each one. They will expand a little bit, and then that way I can put those in the oven and they will cook up beautifully. Even though nobody is here, well, no kids are here right now to eat these warm, I'm having one of these for lunch. And I just put them in a container in the fridge and they pull them out as they want. We usually cut them long ways and then a couple cuts short ways before we put them in the microwave. That way they kind of heat up evenly and then they're little bite-sized pieces. So that works great. And because I also have a brownie pan down here, I'm just gonna grab my brownie pan and use my brownie pan. Now with this, because it is sticky enough, you do not need to grease these ahead of time. Our pans are pretty non-stick, when it comes to stuff like this. If I was making like a blueberry muffin, I would put a little bit of spray in there. And I never use Pam. I always use, if I'm gonna use a spray like that, I will use a flour-based spray, like Baker's Joy. If you have our kitchen spritzer, you can fill it up with some veggie oil or canola oil. Mine has got EVOO in there right now. And in my mind, EVOO means cooking, not baking. So I don't take the time to switch the oil out. And I guess I need a second one of those too. But I'm just gonna go ahead and fill up our brownie pan with the remaining mixture. My kids call these breakfast squares because I originally made them square in the brownie pan. And so now they're confused when I said there's breakfast loaves in the fridge. They'll be like, what are breakfast loaves? Well, it's the same thing, it's just a different shape. So let me grab one of my scrapers. You gotta have a bunch of scrapers in your kitchen so we can get every little bit of cheese and egg and sausage and jalapeno goodness so that we don't, waste any, and we'll just fill up whatever's left. So these will take less time than the loaves. So I'll put these in, but really the total time is only about 8 minutes. So I'm only gonna I'll put the loaves in, give them a little bit of a head start since they're a little, well, actually I guess they're not any thicker because it's the same capacity. So let's just do an experiment and we'll try it. They can both fit in side by side at the same time. And there we go. We've got breakfast ready for tomorrow or an afternoon snack. I can already smell the chicken. It smells like taco seasoning. And I don't think it's come to pressure yet because I haven't seen any steam come out of the little button here. So what happens as it comes to pressure is this little button right here will pop up and you might see a little steam right here before it pops up. But I know that it's not come to pressure. So I'll just leave that because I know it's frozen in there, and I'll clean up my mess. And there was one other thing I wanted to show you guys, but it has completely left me. Oh, I know what it is. So a couple years ago, I went to a friend's house and she had like ground beef in a crock pot that she just made a taco mixture. And I was like, all of a sudden I'm like, this tastes so good. This does not taste like one of these. And she goes, oh, I went on Pinterest and I found a mix, a recipe for taco mix. And so she sent me the recipe, and that's what we've really been doing. And so I don't know, this must be been in the pantry because I ran out of my own and I had to like do a quick one. But I keep an old container. This is actually red peppercorn that was in here, and I just make my own taco seasoning, like my label there. And I will post this, but this is a nice way, and the reason she had made it is they were trying to control their salt intake, and so she realized that a lot of these mixtures, let's see what this one says. I'm missing the salt. Oh, sodium, 300 milligrams of sodium and just 2 tablespoons of this, which there's 6 servings in here. So go ahead and do the math. And that's 3,600 milligrams of salt in just this one packet. So then that way, when you make this seasoning, you can eliminate the salt altogether if you want. And it's pretty common stuff. It's cumin, red pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, and something else. I remember I was out of cumin last time. That's why I could not make any more because I was out of cumin. But it has a little bit more of a kick than if you use El Paso, but my family loves it, so I kind of do that. If we have extras over here, I kind of like say, hey, don't go too heavy on the taco sauce or salsa because this has enough heat as it is. So I don't really measure this when I do my tacos. I kind of just, after I do my ground beef or my turkey, I just put this over top and then kind of eyeball it and look at like what the color looks like. So it's very similar to the El Paso. But also I add water just like that packet says. So I do my ground beef, I add my seasoning, I add my water, and then let it cook down. So if you're trying to, because these come out to about $1 a piece. I think sometimes you can get them for like 80 cents. Sometimes they may be a little bit more. But we do love tacos. Like I said, any day that ends in wine. So I found myself that if I make it, it lasts a little longer. It's a little bit cheaper. I can kind of control the salt if I want to. But that was my other tip I wanted to give you today. So the only reason I didn't do that today is because I did have one of these packs. If I feel like it needs a little kick after it comes out of there, I'll be adding some of this mixture. But I will post the taco seasoning recipe that I got from Pinterest so that you don't have to go in that black hole and find it. So I hope you guys enjoyed our power cooking breakfast, lunch, dinner session this morning. But I've got work to do. So enjoy the rest of your day, foodies. Talk to you soon. Bye.